In this video I'm going to show you how to replace the screen on a Samsung Galaxy S4. And well, it's pretty broken. Let me show you the tools you're going to use for this. So you need one of these metal pries, a couple of these plastic blades. You're going to need some double-sided tape. This is the 2mm and the 1mm. You're going to need both of them, so make sure you have them both. And you're going to need one of these lasers to check your temperature, and a heat gun, just a regular heat gun. And well, of course, your new screen, your new glass. As you can see, this is a pink glass. The customer asked for it, so you can check out our website and see what other colors we have, just in case you want a different color than the original one. And what you want to do is go ahead and heat up your screen to 150 degrees. Make sure you don't go over 150. I mean, it's gonna go over 150, but once you see that meter going higher than 150, make sure you just pull away with your heat gun, just like so. We can keep that a little more. Just make sure it's 150, 155, 160 is fine. And just keep hitting it all the way around. Make sure you have a little pattern going on. And then you're gonna pry up with your metal spatula between the glass and your frame. This one came up pretty easy, as you can see. Look, it's going up pretty fast. So just work your way around. If it feels pretty soft and it's going up, make sure just the glass is going up, because you can loosen your LCD or your digitizer and it could come out, but as you can see, it's just the glass. So we work our way around, and well, as you're doing this process, make sure you have enough heat on your screen. So if you need to apply more heat, go ahead and do that, just so that you don't break your digitizer, because it's pretty easy to damage your digitizer if you're putting pressure on your glass and it's not hot enough for the glue to just peel off. Work your way around. You're gonna see like bubbles in your screen. That means the glue is peeling off. And here we need more heat already. Make sure you take your time, apply enough heat so it's not so hard and you don't break your LCD or your digitizer. So just make sure you put enough heat, work your way around, take your time. In this particular model, the glass is gonna come out whole. You won't have to take it off in pieces, so that makes it way easier. Work your way around. Make sure you pry up where you need to. I'm gonna stick this plastic blade up here so it won't stick back under, and I can work my way around to the bottom part. As you can see, I need to push it in a little, and I'm gonna add more heat so the middle part comes undone. Here we go. Remember, don't go over 150. If it goes over, just take your heat gun off, just like so. But usually it heats up the sensor, so go ahead and take your heat gun and then check your temperature, and then if you need more, then go ahead and apply more heat. Work your way in here. If you don't have any of these tools that I just showed you and that I'm using to do this repair, then you can visit our website, gadgetdoctorworldwide.com, and you can find all the tools in there: the heat gun, the laser for the temperature, these plastic blades, the metal pry, and the parts themselves, you can find them there. We have a variety of colors for this model, and you can customize your phone any way you want. And well, if you don't feel safe doing this procedure yourself, you can always send in your phone and we'll be gladly able to help you do your repairs, replace your screen, or if any of the cameras, your charger, anything doesn't work, you can send it in and we can gladly fix it for you. So just keep working your way down. You can see how the glue is gonna separate from the LCD. You just have to go really slow so you don't damage your LCD or your digitizer. You can go ahead and keep sticking that plastic plates. You can do it on the side so you keep your space between your digitizer and your glass. Makes it way easier if you keep your space and it doesn't stick back on there. I'm gonna go ahead and apply more heat. Like I said, take your time, apply as much heat as you need, just as long as you don't go over 150 degrees. If you do, just go ahead and separate your heat gun pretty quick and work your way down. Work your way down on this side too. And you can see how the glass is coming apart from the digitizer. You can see the bubbles. And well, once you have it this far, you can go ahead and take this out and use it on the other side. And you can push from both sides, way easier. When you get to the part where your button starts, where that white part starts, go ahead and apply more heat because your buttons are down there, so you want them to kind of unstick from the glass, but if they don't, then you could just look at them carefully before you remove the glass and you could pry them out. So as you can see, I added a little more heat and you can see it coming undone pretty easy. And once you get to this part, you want to look down and see if your buttons are stick to the glass. And well, this one, they're not stuck to the glass, as you can see, but if they were, you were gonna be able to pry them out just like so from the glass. And you don't want to rip your buttons out, so be real careful when you get the glass out. And in Samsung's Galaxy S4, you're gonna have the glue left on the screen, so with your fingertips you're gonna work it off, you're gonna rub it until it comes off. And well, you might want to add heat, and since the phone's hot, so it's pretty easy to take off, but you're gonna probably have to add more heat. And on this part, make sure you don't go over 150 degrees since your digitizer is pretty sensitive to the heat, so you could damage it. So just be real careful, don't add too much heat, but go ahead and add more heat so you can work your way down and remove all this glue. It's going to take you a little while to get it all cleaned up. And when you take your glass out, it's going to look like it doesn't have anything on there, but make sure you rub your finger on there and make sure it's not there, but it's most likely going to be there since all Galaxy 4s leave it behind. Work it all off your camera and your sensors. Make sure you don't leave any of that behind, covering your camera or your sensors. We'll get to that part in a minute, so just keep working your way down until you get all the glue off. It'll take a little while, but it's pretty easy. to get it all off once you add more heat. And all this little glue residue is gonna stick to your phone and your fingers, but it's okay, it shouldn't stick to nothing, it's just gonna be there and you can clean it off pretty easy. Go ahead and add more heat and keep working your way down. And like I said, if you guys don't feel comfortable doing this procedure yourselves, then you can always send in your phone and we'll gladly be able to help you out repairing your phone or changing the screen like this video shows. And well, the links are down below in the about section, and you could click on them and it'll take you straight into the parts for this phone, repairs, accessories, and the tools that you will use to repair your phone. And well, we offer everything else that you're gonna see on this video, and I'll talk about it as we go through with the video and you see what we use. And it's gonna take you a little while to get all the glue off, but work your way down. As you can see, we're almost done. It took us like 3 minutes, so if you need more time and you're doing it yourself, go ahead and take your time. Don't damage your phone. Just take it slow and make sure all the glue comes off. Make sure you don't leave any on the buttons, otherwise it could malfunction. So rub it all off from around the buttons and make sure you don't leave any of it. Make sure you work your corners too. You don't want to leave any of this adhesive on the corners. It should be pretty easy. Make sure you get it all off. Clean all your phone. This phone was brand new. They broke it within 15 days they bought it, so we're customizing it too. Okay, so make sure you get all of this off the table, just so it doesn't get in your screen no more when you're putting your new glass. Try to clean as much as you can so it doesn't stick on your hands either. And there we go. Pretty clean. Okay, now with the piece of tape, you can take off the rest of the glue that's left on your screen. Go ahead and take all the little pieces that are on there. They're a little hard to just brush off, so just take them off with the piece of tape. There we go, looks a little better. And now you're going to use alcohol. Make sure it's more than 90% alcohol, so 91 proof or whatever you could buy, and clean your screen with it, and it should get most of the adhesive that's left on there off. So you're gonna go ahead and almost leave it perfect before you put your new glue on there. So you're gonna have to take a little bit on cleaning it. It usually takes a while for this process, so make sure you take your time to just leave your screen pretty clean. Make sure you get the edges and the corners to glue off, because if you leave any of that glue on there, you're gonna be able to see it through your screen. I'm sorry. and it won't be pretty attractive. So just take your time on cleaning your screen, and it should be pretty easy to get the rest of that glue off. Takes a while to get it all off. Just keep working the corners, make sure you get all the rest of the glue off. On the edges where you're going to put your new double-sided tape. Here we go, keep cleaning. You should almost leave it perfect, so when you put your new adhesive, then you're just gonna give it a little dust off or wipe off a little bit left, and then you can just place your glass on there. But make sure you clean it pretty good. And clean the edges like I said. Make sure you don't leave any of the glue on the corners or the edges where you're going to be able to see it through your glass. I like to remove the old adhesive that's under the double-sided tape that the factory puts in there, so I usually remove it so my glass sits better in there with my new adhesive, and that doesn't push it up, and it can make my screen not work right or have a little bit of difficulty working it. So make sure you just are careful when taking this off. You just want to take off the factory double-sided tape, and it'll be pretty easy. And well, if you're not taking this tape off, you're gonna want to make sure that you don't have any of the glass left on the edges or any of the glue left on there, because if you do, you could break your glass, or it won't sit right, or it could go on your screen, and then you're gonna have to take it apart again. So, but if you're taking it off, it should leave it really clean. It should be spotless by the time you remove most of this factory tape. So go ahead and take it all off. And it's a little stuck on there, but I mean, you could work your way in there and peel it off. You could use little tweezers to just like pry under it and get it unstuck from there. So here we go, and it's pretty much looking pretty clean after you take off the tape. And well, you can find all of this double-sided tape and even the tweezers on our website. It's gadgetdoctorworldwide.com. I recommend you checking it out and see what we got there. We got parts, tools, accessories, and welder repairs too, where you can send in your phone and we'll be gladly able to help you. So here, take this off. Go ahead and take it from the edges off too. A little bit off. And we almost got it all off. I mean, if you want to leave it on there, it's gonna be fine. But I mean, I prefer taking it out and putting the whole thing new again. Go ahead and try to get it all off. I know it's gonna be really stuck on there, but I mean, you could work your way all the way around, making sure it's all off. Once you have it all off, like I said, make sure everything's off the table so you don't get any on your screen or your new glass. You don't want any of it on there. It's not gonna be attractive, so go ahead and give it another wipe so it's a little cleaner. Wipe it all off, all those little balls of glue that are gonna be on there. Let me take them all off. Clean it as much as you can, like I said. Clean the edges pretty good, don't leave any of that adhesive on there. The corners, you're gonna see that in your corners. You don't clean it pretty good, but well, that's why I'm warning you right here, so you can clean your corners and your edges pretty good, so when you put your glass you're like, oh no, I see the adhesive. But this video is to help you do it perfect. So make sure it's pretty clean. Get all the little balls of glue off. And then we can start with our 2mm double-sided tape on the bottom and top. Make sure you only use the 2mm on the bottom and top, because the sides are too thin and you won't be able to see it through your screen. I use a little piece of tape like this and put it over the button. Take off your white button and put it over the button itself, and then you can replace the white button on there. Just put it back in place. I do this so I can raise a little the button, because the glass is gonna sit a little higher than the original, so this helps the button come up a little bit and work better. Alright, once you have your button on there, we're gonna go ahead and put the double-sided 2mm tape on the bottom. When you're doing this, make sure you're inside or outside, I don't know, however you want to see it, but you're gonna see a black line around your screen. It's really dark. Make sure you don't go into the screen with the double-sided tape, otherwise you're gonna be able to see it through your glass and it won't be attractive. So make sure it doesn't cross that black line over to your screen, inside your screen. And you're gonna be able to see it when you are doing this yourself. Can't see it here pretty good, but you're gonna be able to see it when you do it yourself, that there's a black line you don't want to go over. When you're doing the top, same thing. Make sure you're outside the screen. Outside the screen. And go ahead and put this here. Right. Make sure you don't go over in the frame of your phone. Make sure you stay inside on what's the screen. That doesn't fit there, so you could do one right under the speaker, 2mm. Alright, once you have that there, you're gonna go ahead and put a 2mm under your button. Just put a strip just so that you don't go over your buttons. Make sure you don't put it on top of the white buttons, or otherwise it could not work and you'll be having to take off your glass again. So make sure you just put it under the buttons, and then you could use some pieces for the corners. You could use a couple little pieces like this for the corners. Go ahead and put the corners in, just like so. Alright, once you got that one in, do the other side. Try to get as much double-sided tape on there as you can, just because you're not doing the glue on the screen. On the sides, you're going to use the 1mm double-sided tape. When you're doing this, make sure you overlap them over the 2mm tape, and that is just so dust doesn't get inside on your screen, in between the glass and the screen. So make sure you overlap them. And this little 1mm tape, it's a little harder to handle just because it's so tiny, but I mean, it's the only one that works. Make sure you're not using 2mm on the side, or you're gonna be able to see it on your screen and it's gonna suck. So make sure you overlap it, like I said. Do the other side as well, same thing, overlap it, make a square on your screen, and that will help dust not get in between your glass and your screen. Go ahead and overlap it, and make sure it sticks on there. Sometimes it comes off. Go ahead and cut it, overlapped. Alright, now you're going to do the top of the speaker. Now when you're doing this top part, make sure that you're away from your camera, your sensors, and your light, because the Galaxy S4 has a little more sensors up there, light sensors and all this kind of crap up here. So make sure you don't cover it with the tape. Go ahead and cut 2 pieces for your corners, and watch out your camera. You don't want to be taking a picture and then you're like, oh crap, I can see some glue on my screen. So just make sure you don't cover your camera or your light on the left corner. Go ahead and put it, like I said, it's really tiny, it's hard to handle, but pretty easy. Go ahead and make sure it's sticking to the frame. This side also. This is where your camera is, so make sure you're careful when you're doing this side. Go ahead and make sure it sticks on there. And then you're gonna go ahead and clean it off, your final clean. This is where you're gonna want to make sure it's almost perfect. Like I said, it's not gonna be perfect, but I mean, you're gonna get close to almost perfect. So go ahead and clean it off. Make sure you don't have any glue on there or any dust or anything. I mean, you're gonna have a little bit of dust, but you could just blow it off. It should be pretty easy. It's not gonna be perfect, like I said. You might end up with a little piece of dust under or some kind of stuff in there, but I mean, try to get it as perfect as you can. And well, if you think you won't be able to do it that good, you can always send it in and we could help you out do this repair if your screen is cracked. And if your digitizer or your LCD doesn't work, we also do a repair on the screen. So if it's blacked out or you can't see it or the touch doesn't work, you can always send it in also and we'll be able to do a repair on that too. You can check it out on the link below or go to gadgetdoctorworldwide.com and you can see all the parts and the repairs that we offer, which is mostly anything on a Galaxy S4. Alright, we are trying to get this screen perfect so we could get a glass on there, and it's pretty clean. go ahead and make sure that the edges are pretty clean, the corners. So clean it up pretty good. Get the edges pretty clean. It looks pretty good now. I'm just trying to get the edges pretty clean. So then we have a happy customer if it's perfect. So here we go, dust it off. If you have any dust on there after, you could just blow it off. That's gonna be pretty much your final clean when you blow it off. Okay, it looks perfect. And now you're gonna remove the paper from your tape. This 1mm tape is pretty stressful. It's hard to peel off, so take your time. Make sure you don't peel it off with the tape itself. So just take your time. Take your time on peeling it off. And there we go. Like I said, take your time. It's pretty hard to peel off, but when it comes off, it comes off. Alright. Make sure that the tape is overlapped, like I told you before. I mean, it's gonna peel off, and then just with your tweezers, your finger, your nail, you could just make sure it overlaps the other tape on there. After this procedure, if you have any dust on there or anything on your screen from the cloth itself or something, go ahead and blow it off. It should be pretty easy. I mean, try not to touch the screen anymore. Once you cleaned it and you're taking off the tape, make sure you don't touch the screen at all. You don't want any greasy fingerprints on there when you put your glass. So go ahead and make sure it's on there good and peel it off. It's resisting, but we got it. Alright. Same for this. Make sure you take off all the paper from your tape, or otherwise it's not going to stick really good. Go ahead and take off all of it. Once you have it all off, make sure you blow on it a little bit so you get all the dust off. Okay, so here we have our new glass, pink, and go ahead and take off the top plastic. Alright, here we have the top plastic, then the bottom, and you can hold your glass. Make sure you don't get any fingerprints on the bottom part, and you can hold your glass a little bit away from your screen and look at it and see if it's clean. If you see any dust on it or any particles on it, just blow on it. You could touch it from the top and make sure it's dirty from the top, not the bottom. Blow on it a little more, make sure it's clean, and then you're gonna center it with your speaker. Make sure your speaker goes in the little hole that it's supposed to, and then center your button, and you can drop it. And go ahead and apply a little bit of pressure. Make sure you don't press on it so hard it will crack your screen again. So just press on it lightly. And I hope this video helped you all, and I hope you could use it to do the repair yourself, or like I said, we have our links on there for parts, tools, accessories, repairs. And well, this is how your phone should look like after, when you have a new screen. You can add more heat to it on there too, for the double-sided tape to stick on there pretty good, or you could just apply pressure, it shouldn't come off. And well, after that you can stick your battery back on there and check that your phone works. So let's do that right now. I'll show you. Put this battery back on and we'll check if it works. And like I said, go ahead and check out our website, www.gadgetdoctorworldwide.com, and you can see our prices, parts, and everything we offer for this repair or for you to send your phone in. And there you have it. Thanks for watching.